Hello everyone, welcome to Augment Tech. In this session, we will be learning about Python Plotly and Cufflinks. By the end of this session, you should be able to understand what is Plotly and Cufflinks, features of Plotly, how to install Plotly, settings for online plotting, setting Plotly offline, Plotly package structures, why do you choose Plotly, data frames for Plotly, and how to create different types of plots. I'm excited to get started and I hope the same from you. Let's get started with what is Plotly and Cufflinks. Plotly is a Montreal-based technical computing company involved in the development of data analytics and visualization tools such as Dash and Chart Studio. So Plotly is a company based out of Canada. It has also developed an open source graphing application programming interface API libraries for Python, R, MATLAB, JavaScript, and other computer programming languages. Plotly is an interactive plotting library which is open source and supports over 40 unique charts covering a wide range of statistical, geographical, financial, scientific, and three-dimensional use cases. Plotly is an interactive visualization library and Cufflinks connects Plotly with pandas. Built on top of the Plotly JavaScript library that is Plotly.js, Plotly enables users to create beautiful interactive web-based visualizations that can be displayed in Jupyter Notebook or as standalone HTML files. Now let's see what are the features of Plotly. So some of the important features of Plotly are as follows. It produces interactive graphs. The graphs are stored in JavaScript object notation, that is JSON data format, so that they can be read using scripts of other programming languages such as R, MATLAB, etc. Graphs can be exported in various rasters as well as vector image formats. Plotly's Python graphing library makes interactive publication quality graphs. Example, how to make line plots, scatter plots, area charts, bar charts, heat maps, histograms, box plots, subplots, multiple axis, polar charts, and bubble charts. Now let's see how to install Plotly. So now we can install Plotly's package Python using pip. So we can just do pip install Plotly, and then Plotly can be used in two different ways because Plotly is a company that could help you host your visualizations. So Plotly can be used for online plotting as well as we can connect Plotly for offline. So let's have a look at the settings for online plotting. So data and graph of online plot are saved in your plot.ly account. So we just need to go to this plot.ly and then sign up there in order to create the account. And online plots are generated by two methods, both of which are will create a unique URL for the plot and then save it in your Plotly account. Py.plot method returns the unique URL and optionally open the URL, and then py.iplot is when working in a Jupyter notebook to display the plot in the notebook. Now let's see how to set Plotly offline. Setting Plotly offline. Plotly allows you to generate graphs offline and save them in local machine. The plotly.offline.plot function creates a standalone HTML file that is saved locally and open inside your web browser. Also, we can use plotly.offline.iplot when working offline in Jupyter Notebook to display the plot in the notebook. Now let's see the Plotly package structure. Plotly Python package has three main modules, that is plotly, plotly.graph underscore objs, that is objects, and then plotly.tools. Plotly method contains functions that require a response from Plotly server. And then functions in this module are interface between the local machine and the Plotly. And then we have this plotly.graph underscore objs module. This is the most important module that contains all of the class definitions for the objects that make up the plot we see. Following graph objects are defined. We have data, figure, layout, and different graph traces like scatter, box, histogram, bars, area, charts, and so on. All graph objects are ordinary, and they are in the form of dictionary and list like objects that are used to generate or modify every feature of a plotly plot. The plotly.tools module contains many helpful functions facilitating and enhancing the plotly experience. Because using plotly, we can create beautiful interactive plots and functions for subplot generation. Emptying plotly plots in IPython notebooks, saving and retrieving your credentials are defined in this module. So let's say we have a figure and then the data and the layout, and then we have trace 1, trace 2, and then finally the layout options. So layout provides us layout options, whereas data provides us the trace 1 and trace 2. By default, plotly chart with multiple traces shows legends automatically. If it has only one trace, it is not displayed automatically. To display, you need to set show legend parameter of the layout object to true. And then we can interact with plotly APIs in two ways, using the plotly graph objects for lower level APIs and plotly express for high level API. Now, why would we choose plotly? Apart from plotly, we have other visualization libraries in Python like matplotlib and seaborn. Then why do we use plotly, or why do we choose to use plotly? So there are a couple of reasons we choose to use plotly. That is, the visualizations are interactive. This is the first and foremost reason, uh, which is unlike seaborn and matplotlib. It's quite straightforward to generate complicated visuals using Plotly's high-level Express API. And then Plotly also provides a framework known as Plotly Dash that can allow you to host your visualizations as well as machine learning projects. So you can make your Plotly visualizations live by hosting your visualization by signing up to the in the Plotly web page. And then you can also generate HTML code for your visualizations. If you like, you can embed this on your website as well. And generating visualizations will require that you have your data set cleaned. That's the most crucial part. Otherwise, you will have the visuals that deliver the irrelevant or wrong information. Now let's see how to create a data frame for Plotly. So we will create one data frame, let's say with 150 rows and 4 columns with some random values. And another data frame is made with categorical values, another data frame with 3 columns and 5 rows filled with random values. And then we will use this data frames for plotting. So here we say df equals pd.dataFrame and then np.random.randn 100, 4, and then columns equals abcd and split df.100. So here you can pass even 150 as mentioned, 150 rows and then 4 columns. And then how to create line plots. So now that we have our data set created, we can create an interactive line plot using iPlot method. You can also zoom in and zoom out of the plot. Hover over the plot to view the values. So while using Matplotlib and Seaborn, we didn't have the feature to hover over the points of the plot. But here in Plotly, because it is interactive, we can hover over the plot to view the points and the values of those points. And also saving the plot as PNG is an option. You can also save the plot as an image, and you can also click on column names in Legend to view specific plot of the columns, because you can have multiple columns in a data set. And if you want to choose to see only plots from specific columns, then you can also go and click on those column names in order to see the plot of those columns. So here we can do df.iplot. There we go. This is how an iplot looks like. So here we see we have columns A, B, C, D. So when we actually work on a Jupyter notebook, we should be seeing if we click on or hover over some columns, it would be showing me the lines of only those columns. Also, we can go and zoom in and zoom out, and also we can click on points in order to see the values. Now let's see how to create scatter plots. So the interactive scatter plot is created by mentioning kind as a parameter while calling the iplot method. Here the x and y values are also mentioned according to which the scatter plot is plotted. So here we do df.iplot, specify kind equals scatter, and then choose x and y as one of the columns from the data frame. And there we go. This is how the output for the particular data set looks like. So by default here, the plotly makes all the points to be connected by lines. If you want to see them as markers, we can actually specify plotly markers. So by default, Plotly makes all the points to be connected by lines. So if you want to weave the data points without the connections or edges or lines, we can mention the mode as markers. So we can say df.iplot kind equals scatter. Then we can pass x and y as column names, and mode equals markers. And there we go. This is how the output for kind equals a scatter looks like. So you can see here the points are just scattered around and then not connected with lines. So this is because we have specified mode equals markers. If you do not specify mode equals markers, you can see all the points will be connected with each other through lines. Now let's see how to create bar plots. So this plot can be created by passing bar as the value for kind argument. So here we can just say um, kind equals bar, and then we can specify x and y column names. And this is how the bar plot in Plotly looks like. Let's see how to create box plots. So by passing the box value to kind argument, again, we specify kind equals box. A box plot could be formed. The information of the quartiles and median along with maximum and minimum value is shown when hovered over the plot. So we can do df.iplot kind equals box, and there we go. This is how the box plot using Plotly looks like. So you can see here, these are the legends that shows a different column names as well as the different boxes. And then by clicking on the column names, we can actually choose what we want to display, like which box we want to display. So you can choose from the column name from the legend mentioned over here. Now let's see how to create surface plots. So by mentioning surface as the kind, we can actually create a surface plot. It can be rotated around to be from different angles. So this is an interesting plot to work with. So here we say uh, data frame dot iplot kind equals surface, and there we go. This is how the surface plot looks like. So this is kind of three-dimensional plot that is created, and it can be moved around, and also we can change the value for this color bar here. Then we have the color schema that can also be changed by mentioning the color scale argument. The abbreviations of few colors are, like for red it is RD, for blue it is BU, and for yellow it is YL. And then we can simply say data frame dot iplot, then specify the kind to be surface, and then color scale to be a sequence of values. Let's say RD is for red, YL is for yellow, and BU is for blue. And there we go. This is how the surface plot with color schema red, yellow, and blue looks like. Now let's see how to create histograms. So histograms are another very popular visualizations to work with. So histograms can be drawn for particular column of data set by mentioning the kind as hist. Along with this, bins can also be mentioned. So you can just say data frame of column dot iplot kind equals hist, and then bin equals 30. There we go. This is how the output looks like. And you can also change, you can change the colors as well, and You can also call your hist on the entire data frame rather than calling on a single column. If you plot a histogram on the entire data frame, then the histograms will be overlapping for each of the column, and the selection of columns can be done on clicking on the legends. Now let's see how to create a spread plot. So it shows the line plot for selected columns. Along with this, the spread plot is shown which is made against each other. So normally this is used for stock data analysis. The spread keyword is passed to the kind argument to create this plot. So here we do I plot of kind equals spread, and this is how the spread plot looks like. So this is the spread, and these are the line plot, and this is actually used for stock data analysis just to see the stock variations. Now let's see how to create bubble plots. So this plot is very much similar to scatter plot. The only difference is that the size of marker will change according to the parameter. And again here the kind will be mentioned as bubble to create this plot, and n, x and y values are just passed same as that of scatter plot. And also this kind of plot is used to depict the GDP, and the size of marker is based on another column also mentioning the column name to the size argument. So here we can do data frame.iplot kind equals bubble, pass x and y as columns, and then we can say size equals c. There we go. This is how the bubble plot looks like. So this is kind of very much similar to scatter plot, but here if you see, the points are actually acting as bubbles and the size is significantly increased. Now let's see how to create a scattered matrix plot. So this plot is very much similar to pair plot of a Seaborn library that gives us the pairwise distribution between the columns working on bivariate data. And the scattered matrix method is call of the data set. For the scattered matrix to be formed, the column should be numerical. It will automatically exclude the string or object columns. And then here we do df dot scatter underscore matrix, which would give us this pair plot kind of matrix, which is known as a scatter matrix plot in Plotly. So you can see here the diagonals are histograms and all others are a scatter plots. Alright, so now let's hop to Jupyter Notebook and check out the example of Plotly and Cuffinks in order to do the visualization. I will see you there. Now here I'm on my Jupyter Notebook. So under the Plotly folder, I'm going to create a new Python notebook, and let's name this as Plotly and Cuffinks. So in order to work with Plotly, we actually need to install Cuffinks. We'll see that in a while. So here I'm going to rename my notebook as Plotly and Cuffinks. And then before getting started off, let's hop to command prompt and then just install Plotly as well as Cuffinks. So here I'm going to do pip install Plotly. So there we go, it says requirement already satisfied, and then pip install Cuffinks, and there we go. This again says it is already installed. So if you're doing for the very first time, it might collect all the requirements and download all the packages for you. And now, if for some reason your Cuffinks is not installed, you might not be able to import that in your Jupyter Notebook. So now here I'm back to my Jupyter Notebook. Let me write a heading here that says Plotly and Cuffinks. Let's write a markdown here saying Plotly is a library that is used to create interactive data visualizations, whereas Cufflinks helps to connect Plotly with pandas. So now let's import all the required modules here. So first I'm gonna import pandas as PD because we'll be working on the pandas datasets or pandas data frame. Then import numpy as np. We'll be creating random values using numpy, and then I can say import plotly and also import cufflinks as a cf, and then from plotly dot offline import download underscore plotly js, that is javascript, and then we'll say init notebook, that is initialize notebook mode plot and iplot. Also, in order to make sure that the plots are created inside the notebook here, I'm gonna do init notebook mode connected equals true. Let's check, and there we go. You see there is no error, but there is a warning. So let me just ignore this warning by doing import warnings warnings dot filter warnings and then ignore. And if I go and run this above cell, you should see the warning has been ignored. Also, in order to make sure that cufflinks can be used offline, I can do something like cf dot go underscore offline. Now let's go and create the data frame. Let's say df1 equals pd dot data frame, and then here I say np dot random dot ran, that's normal distribution of 100, 4 rows, and then let's say columns are a b c and d, and then let's say dot split, and then let's do df1 dot head. Let's first check the df1, that is data frame 1. This is how my data frame looks like. So you can see here we have 100 rows and 4 columns, and then I want to see only the first 5 rows, so I can do df1 dot head, and there we go. It's showing me the first 5 column row, first 5 rows. Now let me create another data frame. Let's say df2 equals pd dot data frame, and then let's say key colon abc, and then value colon, let's say the value is 10, 11, 12, and then I'm gonna do df2 dot head just to see this data frame. There we go. Let's create one more data frame. Let's say df3 equals pd dot data frame, and then column a colon, Let's say the values are 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, and then column B is having value 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And then column C is having value something like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's go into df3 dot head, and there we go. This is how the output looks like, or this is how my data frame with A, B, and C column looks like. Now let's see how to create line plots. I'm going to write a markdown here saying how to create line plots. Or let's say create line plots. Let's simply do df.iplot just to check if this plots the line plot for us or no. Alright, it says df1 should be the data frame here. And there we go. You see, this is how the line plot for plotted looks like. So here we can just hover over to check the points. So there we go. This is quite interactive. And if I want to select a couple of columns, let's say I want to select only A and C, I can just click on this A, and also you can click on C and then A. You should see. And there we go. Alright, so these are the legends. Whichever plot I want to check in, I can just click on the legends and it will show me that, and I can hover over to check the points, and I can even zoom in and zoom out, so I can just go and do, see, this is the zoomed one, and I can zoom out. Now let's see how to create scatter plots. So here I'm gonna say create scatter plots. It should be a markdown. Let's change this to markdown, and here I see df1.iplot, to which I can pass kind equals scatter, and then let's say x equals a column A and y equals column C, and there we go. This is how the scatter plot looks like. So plotly by default connects all the points with lines. If you want to see them as scattered markers, what I can do is I can simply do df.iplot and then say kind equals a scatter. Let's pass x equals column A, y equals column C, and then you can specify the mode as markers. So you should not be seeing the lines. Instead, you should be seeing the markers points scattered. So this should be again df1, and there we go. This is how the output for scatter plot with mode equals markers look like. So you can again go and hover over to check the points. Like here we have this value, here we have this. All right, I can even zoom in and zoom out this particular graph. Let's see how to create bar plots. Alright, again, this is supposed to be a markdown. Let's say I'm going to create a markdown for data frame 2. Sorry, the bar plot for data frame 2. So here I'm going to do df2.iplot. Then again, I'm going to pass kind equals bar. Add the column names, let's say x equals column key and y equals column value. Before that, let me check the data frame 2 for column names. You can see this is small k and not capital K. Alright, so if I run, you should be seeing the bar plot here. So again, if I just hover, I can just see the points. Alright, we can also pass different functions to the bar plot like count, sum, and so on. So here I do df1 dot count, and then the right plot. Then I can pass kind equals bar. So you can see this is actually giving me the count for all the columns in my data frame 1. And then similarly, I can do df1 dot sum dot I plot, and then kind equals bar, and there we go. This is how you can see from here. I can zoom in, and this is how the bar plot on doing sum on data frame 1 looks like. So here you can see I can actually download plot as a PNG, that is an image. I can zoom, I can do the pan, I can select the box, and this is zoom in, zoom out, auto scale, reset axis. So this is mainly because this Plotly is using Plotly.js. That is where it is giving us the interactive plots. Now let's see how to create box plots. So here I'm going to write a markdown for box plots. Here I say create box plots. I can do df1 dot iplot and then pass kind equals box plot. So this is supposed to be box and not box plot. This is only box. Kind should only be box. And you see here it shows the legends for different colors of boxes. So if I click on this, you should be seeing only this. And if I click on this, you should be seeing only the remaining ones. And again, if I check that box, it comes up. So this is like enabling and disabling using the legends. And again, if I hover, I could see all the points that are marked on this boxes. I can go and zoom in, and I can also go and zoom out. Now we'll see how to create the surface plots. I'm going to use df3 dot iplot, and then I'm going to say kind equals surface. Let's check. All right, so here we go. This is how the surface plot looks like. So you can see you can actually change the angles. It's a 3D plot. You can change the angles and view the plot from different angles. And also, you see by default it takes all these color. You can also specify the color scale. So let's do that. So I'm going to do df3 dot iplot and then kind equals a surface, and then color. I want this to take a red, blue, and yellow color. So I'm going to say color scale equals red, blue, and yellow. So, okay, this is actually giving me some error. Let's figure out. Let me change this to red, yellow, and blue and check. Alright, this is how the color scale can be given, and this is how it takes the red, yellow, and blue color. Again, this is a 3D plot. You can view this on different angles, and you can also see it shows the points of X, Y, and Z columns. I'll see how to create histograms. I'm gonna write a markdown here and say create histograms. So here I'm gonna say df1 of, let's say for the column in which I want to build the hist. Then I can say dot iplot kind equals hist, and I can also specify the value for bins. Let's say bins is 30, and we are only plotting the histogram on a specific column, that is the column D. If at all I specify the histogram on an entire data frame, let's say if I do df dot I plot and then say kind equals hist and then pass the bins equals as 30, it should be again df1. So what actually happens here is the histogram actually overlaps for each of the columns if you notice. Now let's see how to create spread plots. I'm going to write a markdown here for spread plots. Here I say create spread plots. Now spread plots are mainly used for stock data analysis. So here I'm going to do df1 of, let's specify the columns as A and D, and then I'm going to do the right plot, then specify the kind to be spread, and let's check. Alright, this actually okay, this should be spread, and there we go. This is how the a spread plot for two columns A and B looks like. Again, I can hover over to check the points, and this is mainly used for the stock data analysis. So here we have the line plot as well as the spread down here. As you can see, this is how the points are varying on the spread plot. Now let's see how to create bubble plots. So bubble plots are very much similar to scatter plot, but here in bubble plot, the size of points is going to be significantly increased. So here I'm going to change this to markdown, and then I'm going to say df1 dot I plot, and then kind equals, let's say, bubble, and then x equals column A, y equals column B, and then size equals column C. And there we go. This is how the bubble plot looks like. So you can again hover over to check the points. Lastly, we will see how to create a scatter matrix plot that shows the pairwise distribution. Create scatter matrix plot, which is very much similar to pair plot of a Seaborn. So here I'm going to do df1 dot scatter underscore matrix. And there we go. This is how the scatter matrix plot looks like. So you can see here, it again shows me the points. And here the diagonals are histograms and all other are scatter plots. This is actually showing us the pairwise distribution of each of the columns in the data frame df1. Alright, so this is all about Plotly and Cufflinks. Here we have seen how we can make beautiful and interactive visualizations on data using Plotly and Cufflinks. So here we have seen how to create line plots, how to create a scatter plots, bar plots, and then we have seen how to create box plots, surface plots, that's going to give us the 3D visualization, and also we have seen histograms, spread plots, and then bubble plots and a scatter matrix plot. So that's all for this session. Hope you enjoyed the session. We'll see you in the next.